Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Ready from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Subaru Port Richey because guess what? We have another 2020 Subaru vehicle for you. This is the 2020 WRX. And remember, this is the final year of this generation. When we talk about this generation, we're talking about 2015 to 2020. But let's talk a little bit deeper into the WRX history. WRX has been around since 1992, if you could believe that. Here in the United States, we had to wait 10 years. We didn't get the first WRX until 2002. That was the Bug Eye. I'm sure many of you remember those, especially if you're a Subaru fan. What's interesting about this 2020 WRX is that they continued the option and give you the choice of having the performance package, but for the first time ever since 1992, you're gonna get those bright red Brembo calipers that have never been seen on a WRX. Usually if you wanted the Brembos, you would have to step up to the STI. Now that is part of a performance package, which we are gonna get into the details of what that is, but definitely with the WRXs, you're gonna get that rally car fun and a nice affordable package with the all-wheel drive and the turbocharged flat 4, and of course, a nice slick shifting 6-speed manual transmission. But let's go ahead, dive into the 2020 WRX because guess what? This is it. This is the last time that this generation is going to be produced because it's going to be all new for 2021. So off the bat, you'll notice there's not a lot of changes going on when it comes to the looks. This one is a premium trim WRX, and the way that you know that is by the headlight design. If you look inside there, there's a lot of chrome shiny bit. I really don't like the way it looks. I personally would spend a little bit more and get the limited trim. Limited trim, you're gonna get a blacked out headlight housing with full LED headlights. What you do get though is those brand recognizable LED daytime running lamps that kind of go around the perimeter of the headlight. What I do like though on the WRX that's been there since 2015 on this generation is the full fog lamp setup. I like this lower area, the way it's flat black. It's not meant to look like a fake vent or anything, but that was something that on the STIs, when they went to the refresh in 2018, the STIs lost those iconic rally car fog lamps. I like the way they look on the WRX, especially because they're round shape and just so many memories of Colin McRae and Petter Solberg taking their WRXs and STIs down the rally stages. But as we come across the front, very, very clean. I like what they did with the grille design. When they went with that refresh in 2018, they kind of squished it down and stretched it out. It's a nice metallic black, very simple hexagonal shape. Another change that they made that's still on the 2020 is the large open lower grille area, all flat black, which really is gonna help take a beating and gives it an aggressive look. When we pop up onto the hood, you're still gonna get that functional air scoop. It's been functional, that hood scoop, ever since the beginning. The reason why is that there's an intercooler that sits on top of that 2-liter flat 4 engine. It's gonna help ram that nice cool air because remember, colder air is more dense. If you have more dense air, you're gonna get a bigger boom underneath the hood out of those 4 cylinders. Now, as we come around the bend, here's the big talk for 2020. So this one has the optional 18-inch wheel. So you're getting an 18-inch wheel, same wheel design. It's like a metallic grayish color, but this is the big change. On the performance package, you're getting Brembo brakes. Now last year, there was a performance package as well, and you got supposedly upgraded brake pads, and then they painted the stock calipers red. These are true Brembo brake calipers, and I like the way they kept the name on them. If you look at the STIs over the years, a lot of times it just says STI on it. I'm glad they didn't put any Subaru script or WRX script. Let it be known, those are nice Brembo brakes, all 4 corners. So we have 4 pistons up front and dual pistons out rear. So they didn't cheap out and just do the fronts. They did the rears as well. Some manufacturers don't do that. As we go down the side of this WRX, I love the very bold rally car inspired line on the fender. It really gives it that nice flared out look. Tom's gonna swing it around and show you that WRX badge and the venting on the back of the fender. Also on the WRX, you're gonna get that side sill extension. Remember, these are functional pieces here. And if you're still an untrained eye when it comes to the WRX and the STI, this is one easy way to tell. They will put WRX or STI depending on which one it is, because remember, you can get the STI with a wing delete. Now, as we go down the side, same lines, same thing here as on the front. I like the bold body lines that really show that rally car-esque feel to the body. We drop down, I just want to show you the dual piston Brembo calipers in the rear. Nice balance with the name on it, nice and bright. And that comes, like I said, performance package. There are some other goodies that come with that, but I'll show you that when we get to the inside. We come out to the back, and there's just something about a silver Subaru WRX that just screams clean. It's just very clean lines. The color fits the body perfect. I like the trunk lid spoiler. This is the same spoiler that if you go wing delete on an STI you'll get, but it's a nice just kick up to it. It's got a little bit of flow design. And then we drop down, and this has gone unchanged since 2015, and I don't see a reason why. There's no reason why to change this at all until obviously the redesign, but I like the LED brake lamps. I also like just the way it's so clean. Nice tasteful rear diffuser, and guess what? Functional quad exhaust. And of course, underneath all this sheet metal is gonna be that all-wheel drive system that's gonna keep you planted and give you a nice launch from a dead stop. But why don't we go ahead, pop the hood, and see what's powering this WRX. All right, guys, under the hood, we do have hood struts. Even on the WRX is gonna be that 2-liter direct injected turbo. That's why you see those letters on that engine cover, DIT. So what you're looking at, 268 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. This will go 0 to 60, if you're good at dancing on those pedals, 5.4 seconds. But you know what? You're gonna get some decent MPGs as well. 21 in the city, 27 on the highway, a top speed of around 150 miles an hour. And if you're wondering, well, what is the weight of this WRX? You're looking at around 3,297 pounds. One of my favorite things about opening up the hood of almost any Subaru product is they don't put a lot of plastic on it. Now, this does have a little larger cover than the STI, but you know what? You have the intercooler. You can see where the hood scoop matches down to ram air on that intercooler, and then you can see all the other inner bits. You can see where your oil filter is, the intake plenum, all those good things, and that's just what a car enthusiast wants to see when they pop the hood of the car. But why don't we go ahead, fire up this WRX, and see what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the 2020 WRX. You know, every time I get in a WRX or an STI, it just feels like home. That's the thing that I've always enjoyed about it. But, you know, I'm sure you're at that point, you're like, how much is this, Joe? This one, the way that it sits, is right at $34,600. Now, if you're wondering, well, how did we get a WRX, which starts in the mid-20s, mid-high 20s, up to that price? The performance package is $2,800. Now, what that is going to include are the brakes. It's going to include these Recaros, which I'm going to show you in a second. And the nice thing is, for the driver, they're 8-way adjustable. But let's see what you get for the money. Now, on the door panels, I like what I'm seeing. Very soft material on the top. I love the leather on the armrest and the back portion of the door. And I love the red stitching. I think it really just ties it all in together, especially when you see the Recaros. You're going to see how it matches very, very well. Flat black near the switch gears, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints. And then you got a place for your drinks, your snacks, your magazines, maybe even a good old-fashioned map that you folded up. Soft material on the dash. You got the faux carbon fiber still on the WRX, which, you know, it's tasteful. It's nothing too gaudy. Up top, you have your information screen that's under a nice hood that has the same red stitching. And what's wonderful is you could toggle through a plethora of information, including the boost gauge, which is a very nice touch in a car that's turbocharged. Now, as we come down, you're going to get that 7-inch infotainment system. It's that Starlink system. They've made some big gains with this system, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And you can see it's got the swipe feature just like your phone. Very, very easy to use, very easy to get into things and whatnot. So I am happy about that. When it comes to climate control, you got your blower fan switch here, and then you're gonna have your different modes. It is not dual climate. So at this price point, I'm gonna zonk that. I wish that it would be dual climate, but you can go limited trim. You do have your 12 volt here and one of those pesky little plugs that you kind of just have to stick somewhere that you don't lose. Nice little cubby for your phone while it's charging. WRX stamped right there, very nice touch. The rest of this is a little bit cheaper. When you look at an STI, you'll notice the difference in the center console area. Now this one has the optional short throw shifter, which is going to help obviously shorten the throws, but definitely increase your enjoyment while you're driving and the precision of, you know, getting into each gear. It also has the STI accessory shift knob. It is perforated leather, and I do like the way it's got the gears located right there with the STI logo. 2 cup holders, there's no lid or anything like that. You got to go STI if you want that. Good old-fashioned e-brake. You do get heated seats, and then we're to the part where we talk about the seats. These are those Recaros that are part of the optional performance package. Full Alcantara. Love the leather stitch work. The only problem is that they're not as bolstered as you think. The bottom portion is just a stock STI seat. The back portion is a Recaro, but the good news is on longer trips, you're not going to feel squished. The bad news is on a track day or an autocross event, it could have a little bit more bolstering, especially just kind of tilted in a little bit and a little bit higher on the bottom portion. I almost forgot about the armrest. So you have a nice softly leather padded armrest with the stitching. My only zonk for this, it's very, very low. Now I know a lot of times when you're driving, you're not worried about resting your arm somewhere, but if you're going down the highway, you might just want to kind of chill for a second, and it's going to cause you to sit at an angle. But you open this up, you got 2 USBs in there and some nice felt lining. That's going to help protect your circus peanuts once you dump them in there. It's a nice container just to get to those, but I wish it was just a little bit higher. They do have an optional one that does step up, but it's a rubber, it's like made by Rubbermaid. It's like this hard rubber material. Also, the last piece of the puzzle when it comes to options, this does have the optional auto dimming mirror. I do like it because they work really well, and it just, without that large frame around it, it's almost like it's not even there. One last thing I want to point out is when you go performance package, it's a sunroof delete, so no sunroof. They want you to have a more rigid chassis if you're going to go performance option, because obviously that's going to give you better performance on the track or the autocross. But why don't you get on over here and I'll show you behind the business end of this 2020 WRX. All right, guys, we're behind the wheel of this WRX. Let me just show you. Here's that 8-way positional seat that you have, that Recaro, and you can see the bolstering could just come out a little bit more, especially on the bottom portion. But I'm 6 feet tall and I have plenty of headroom. Love the steering wheels in WRX's full leather, the nice red contrast stitching, very, very clean, nothing else. You have some flat black buttons, very easy to work through, and then the instrumentation, it just makes sense, and it's a great setup in the WRX and in the STI. So I like the way that they have that set up right there. Analog tach, analog speedometer with that digital display in the center. Very, very clean, very tasteful, and it's LED backlit, which makes it look even nicer. And then to wrap it off, Subaru gives you full aluminum pedals from the dead pedal to the clutch, brake, and throttle. And the wonderful news is guess what? If you like the heel toe downshift, look at this. Foot on the brake, you just roll. You just roll with it. And that allows you to blip that throttle. But why don't we go ahead? This is a 4-door. Let's check out the back seat and see how your passengers are going to love this WRX. All right, guys, back seat time. One thing that's really wonderful in this particular WRX is I love the rear seating. They did the Alcantara, the same red leather and everything, so that really is a nice touch. Room is really great. I have plenty of headroom. As you can see, leg room is really nice. The only issue is the zonk back here is going to be there's no connectivity whatsoever. No 12 volt, no USB, no rear AC. It is a $34,000 car, but remember, I guess a lot of that money goes into the performance and the all-wheel drive. You do get a very, very nice center armrest here. It's at a great height, leather, soft, 2 cup holders. We fold that back, and overall, I think this is a pleasure for any passenger to be in while you're carving those corners. But why don't we go ahead, check out the trunk and see what you can fit back there. All right, guys, what I wanted to do is before we open up the trunk, I wanted to show you this premium trim WRX still has that good old-fashioned key, obviously in the ignition for you to put the key in to fire her up. And on the back, you're gonna get your buttons to unlock and lock the doors, and of course, open up the trunk. To open up the trunk, we just hold it down, it pops up, and this is probably one of the best assets of the WRX or the STI is the amount of space in the trunk. The seats are gonna do a 60-40 split, and they engineered this car for the track day and autocross lovers out there, because you could put wheels and tires, a jack, and a bunch of other supplies to make your event very successful and you don't really have to use a lot of elbow grease to get it in and out, which is really wonderful. But why don't we get to the best part? Let's go ahead and take this WRX with the performance package for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the 2020 WRX with the performance package. One thing I could tell you right off the bat is that if you go this route, yes, these aren't the most race-inspired Recaros, but they are comfortable, and I do like the way it does have that extra bolstering, but not too much. That's the wonderful part about the setup in this car. Overall, when it comes to the braking, you're really gonna have to take this to a track day or do an autocross event to really get that extra benefit from having the 4-piston calipers up front and those dual pistons out back, because that's where you're gonna get the biggest bang for your braking buck, is by braking over and over again, heating them up. And what you'll notice is that these will not have as much brake fade as a standard WRX pad and caliper. But just driving around, it's very, very smooth. And this is a car that you can daily drive no problem. I mean, this is like the Swiss Army knife of vehicles, period. Performance vehicles, because you're getting the turbocharged fun. This one has the short throw shifter on it, and you got that all-wheel drive to keep it planted. So it's a win-win-win-win-win situation. Nice and smooth. I like having the boost gauge. If you don't want to look at a boost gauge, guess what? You have the option of changing it out. This is going to have a more comfortable ride than an STI, so just one thing to be aware of. But I'll be honest, many people that I've talked to, when they go from WRX to STI, they feel the difference. Not only, yes, you're going to have a stiffer ride, but you are going to get that extra performance from the 2.5. But let's see how she handles into this right-hand bend here. Really nice. On throttle. Yeah, the short, I highly recommend, if you're going to go WRX, check off the option box for the short throw shifter. It's well worth it. It really helps with just a nice crisp action from gear to gear to gear. Clutch is very, very light on throttle. Very light, very precise, good pickup point. Handles really well. And really, if you look at just cars overall and the different classes of cars, there's not many like the WRX anymore. Things are changing, and really, I mean, at this price point and whatnot, there's not a lot of options if you want something with all-wheel drive and turbocharged fun. I like looking out over the hood and seeing that hood scoop, even though they're not as high as they used to be back in like 05 and 06 and whatnot, but still you can see the bulge in the hood and you know what's going on there. That nice cool air is being ran right into that intercooler. Steering feedback is very nice. It's got a great weight on it. I guess on this particular option out one, you know, you don't have to worry about putting it into different modes. There's no SI drive or anything like that. So for some people, that's good to just, yeah, you fire it up and you go. But even over bigger bumps, it's nice and smooth and comfortable. Let me go ahead and accelerate onto this stretch of road here just to show you one more time on a turn. Don't have to worry about traction, losing traction, that's for sure. Really nice. And then of course, another great thing about a WRX is that it's a perfect palette for you to paint your own personality into. You want to change the wheels, you want to change the exhaust. There's a lot of different things that you could do to change to really make it your own. Now you're not going to get that boxer rumble. That's the one part of this puzzle that you're not going to get, because the FA motor is different than the EJ. The FA motor has equal length headers, whereas the EJ motor has unequal length headers. And it's those unequal length headers, not as efficient for power, but they do give you the boxer rumble. You could, though, throw everything and the kitchen sink at this WRX and make it to where it's turning and churning a lot more power than stock. Really smooth though, I'm telling you. And if you're new to the manual transmission world with driving, the clutch is very easy to modulate, great pickup point, and like I was telling you about, if you want to start dancing, on your twinkle toes and heel toe downshifting, very easy to heel toe downshift this WRX. I want to do acceleration from a dead stop on throttle. Here we go. Second gear. I'll tell you, with the short throw shifter, it's real easy to hit third. Nice, perfect engagement. Let's go around this little bend here on the brakes. Good pedal feedback, great pedal feedback from those Brembos. And that's another thing you're gonna notice is that if you are, you know, doing some corner carving or you're at an autocross event, you're gonna notice that the pedal is gonna feel firm all the way through your run so that you have an idea of what's gonna happen when you hit that brake pedal. I promise you, I've been there. There's nothing more unsettling than being in a situation where you're gonna get on the brakes and the pedal is mushy or it goes to the floor. With this setup, nice and firm pedal, very consistent. I like it. And I love the steering. Properly weighted. Subaru really does their homework when it comes to setting up a car that is engaging to drive. Is this gonna beat, you know, a ZL1 Camaro? No. Maybe if it's pouring rain. But the thing is that the way that this car drives, it makes you feel good. It just makes you feel good, especially if you know how to drive a manual and whatnot. Pulling away again. Never have to worry about traction being lost. That's the best part of this. On the brakes. Downshift. Nice. Look, it's over this bump. On the brakes. Even over that ripped up pavement, it's very, very secure. Very secure. And then guess what? You could stop on a yen and give everybody change. Boom, there we go. But why don't we go ahead, I hope that this gave you a nice overall feel of what the 2020 WRX is all about. It's the last year of this generation, and I like the way that Subaru upped the ante with their performance package by giving you the Brembo brakes, not just red painted calipers. But I'll go ahead and I will see you back at Subaru Port Richey in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here at Subaru Port Richey. Definitely gonna thank Spencer, Montel, Larry, Chad, everybody here so accommodating to get us this 2020 WRX with the performance package. Should you go this route or should you go STI? I say if you're gonna go big or go home, go all in. I would spend a little bit more, get a base STI. You're gonna get more braking capability. You're gonna get the better all-wheel drive setup, that 2.5 flat forward turbocharged engine that has that unique STI WRX rumble to it. And remember, when it comes to rumble, we're talking about those pistons horizontally slapping back and forth inside that engine block. But if it's cars like these that you want to keep seeing on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content on the channel just for you, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. Got to give it up to Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner. He's making dreams happen. He's making these cars appear before your very eyes. So thank you, Tom, for all your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.